about what you don't have. Enough. You've cried enough, my dear brother. My dear sister, you've cried enough. And nothing has happened in your life. Jesus tells you today, stop crying for what you don't have and start focusing on what you have. My text for today is from Mark chapter 6 verse 34 to 38 and John chapter 6 verses 8 to 9. And my message is, nothing is impossible. There was a big need where 5,000 people are gathered. And we see that they were very hungry. It was too late and it was a deserted place. Disciples are looking at Jesus and saying, now it is impossible to feed them. But Jesus asks them a beautiful question in verse number 38. He asks, what have you got with you? All the 5,000 people and the disciples are looking at what they don't have and saying it's impossible. But one little boy in the crowd stood up and said, I have 5 loaves and 2 fish. Amen. And this is what Jesus used to do the miracle. Whenever you feel your need is too great, whenever you feel your situation seems impossible, maybe the doctors have given up, Jesus is asking you one question, what have you got with you? Don't look at your need, don't look at what you do not have, look at what you have with you. Just focus on what you've got. For the impossible to become possible, stop focusing on what you don't have and start focusing on what you've got. An artist had a lot of beautiful paintings displayed in his beautiful palace. And all the people were invited to come and buy the paintings. They all came and they looked at one after another. But as they went past, there was one particular art which was kept covered and closed. Nobody could see it. So they asked the artist, why don't you open it, unveil it? The artist said, I will unveil it only at the end, when every other art is being sold, because this is most precious, he said. The people all went and finished their purchase, and then the artist came and all the people gathered to see what this precious art is. And when he unveiled it, it was a big mirror. And the artist said, this is very precious because you are the most precious art on this earth. He said, you are priceless. Each one of you are wonders of the world. You have eyes that can see, ears that can hear, hands that can work, legs that can walk. You have a tongue that can talk and a mind that can think. These are the 7 wonders of the world. And that is why Jesus is saying, stop crying about what you don't have. Enough. You've cried enough, my dear brother. My dear sister, you've cried enough. And nothing has happened in your life. Jesus tells you today, stop crying for what you don't have and start focusing on what you have. All the disciples and 5,000 people are focusing on what they don't have, and it became impossible for them. But this one little boy, he said, I have 5 loaves and 2 fish. I want you to listen very carefully today. Maybe some of you are sitting here and you feel that everything is over, impossibility seen in your life. I want to tell you, start focusing on what you have. Someone said like this, I cried for a pair of shoes until I saw a man without legs. See, that is why Jesus is saying, stop focusing on what you don't have. Start focusing on what you have. Today maybe you are feeling low. My life is never going to change. Some of you are crying, if I have money, I can do this. If I buy a car, I can do this. God says, if you want impossible to become possible, it's not with what you don't have, but it is with what you have. Number 2, in Matthew 14 verse 17, the disciples are saying, we have only 5 loaves and 2 fish. See, they are saying it's too little. They all looked at what they don't have. Now they're looking at the 5 loaves and 2 fish and telling, what is this, Lord? It is too little. Jesus says, bring it to me. In verse number 18 of Matthew 14, Jesus says, bring that little to me. Give it into my hands. Amen. And the moment these 5 loaves and 2 fish were placed in the hands of Jesus, miracle happened. Amen. I used to work very hard selling books after my graduation. I used to sell books, the yellow pages, and I worked very hard. And every month, I used to earn lots, but every month I had a credit of 500 rupees. Those days, that's 25 years back I'm talking about. I used to take a loan, I used to borrow from someone. But once I gave my life to Jesus, with the same salary I was able to save. I was able to build my life. And I was able to rise up because I gave everything into the hands of Jesus. I want to tell you, friends, for the impossible to become possible, you need to give whatever you have. Little. It may be little money. It may be little health. It may be little beauty. It may be little, your family is small. Give it into the hands of Jesus and you will see it multiply. Amen. I want to challenge every one of you. Maybe you're feeling too small today. Maybe you're feeling too low today. Maybe you're feeling, my life will never improve. It's impossible. Give that little to the hands of Jesus and you will see it multiply. 5 loaves and 2 fish. It multiplied and fed more than 5,000 people. In his hands, there is multiplication. Thirdly, in verse number 19, Jesus took it in his hands, blessed it, and then he broke it. Listen carefully. He took it in his hands, blessed it, then broke it and gave it out. Everyone today focus on blessings. They say, you pray and you will receive. You profess and you will possess. You seek and you will find. Ask and you will receive. See, it doesn't come so easily. Yes, you ask, you will receive. That's a Bible verse. But it doesn't just come like that. Nobody speaks about the breaking in the hands of God. He took the bread, he blessed it, and then he broke it. And then only the miracle happened. He need not have broken it. He could have just thrown it. If it was to profess and possess, Jesus could have taken the bread and thrown it. It could have multiplied. He broke it. When you are in the hands of God, yes, you will be blessed. But if you want the impossible to become possible, he breaks you. When I came to Jesus, I gave up all my bad habits and I started praying more and I started seeking God. My business started flourishing. Yes, blessings started. And I got a ministry. Lots of people, many thousands, hundreds started flocking. I've seen a lot of people being changed, lives changed. But soon, the breaking began. My business closed. My business was the only source to support my ministry. I used to give to the poor. I still, by God's grace, am giving to the widows. And as I was giving all that money, the business closed. I had a beautiful business in Bangalore, Cochin and Pune. But it closed. advertising and marketing. And my ministry, it became impossible to go forward because I had to spend lots of money on giving to the poor, my office, my staff. And it became almost impossible. And as I was sitting and praying, my own brother came forward and he said, "You don't worry. Continue the ministry. Whatever expenses there, I will pay for it." Now, I'm able to do much more. Much more. I'm spending more, I'm giving more, I'm doing more, not because it's my ministry, not my money, not my ministry, not my business, but because He broke it. Amen. Whenever God breaks you, I want you to remember that there is going to be an increase if you are in His hands. Maybe you're broken today. Maybe there is some sort of a difficulty you're facing. Maybe you're in the hands of God. You're walking a holy life, but still you're struggling. And you feel, "Why, Lord?" I've come to tell you, after the breaking comes the increase. God is going to increase you. But you need to make sure that you're in the hands of Jesus. 5 loaves, 2 fish increased and fed 5,000. I want to tell you, thirdly, whenever you're in the hands of Jesus, when you're broken, don't give up. Don't give up. Because after the breaking, there is an increase. Amen. Today, maybe some of you are feeling down and broken. A grain of wheat has to go into the ground and break. And then only many grains of wheat are produced. Joseph was broken for 13 long years. And then only he was promoted from a prison to a palace. Job lost everything in order to get the double portion. Impossible becomes possible only after you are broken. How many of you will take a decision to use, number one, to use what you have and not to focus on what you don't have? Number 2, give it all into the hands of Jesus. Little will become lots. And number 3, even when you're broken, don't give up, because after the breaking comes an increase. God bless you.